What's going on, guys? It's Jake from Mongolodon, and I'm here to review Chapter 89 of The Promised Neverland. Finally starting to review this series. I've been reading it for a little while now, probably when it was around 50 chapters long, so a little bit after everyone started. But anyways, this chapter was so good. I actually didn't get the chance to read Chapter 88, the one before it, so I read them both in succession, and those are two amazing chapters to read back to back. First of all, I want to point out the beginning color spread that she did, or the author did, that has Emma pointing a gun with demons in the background, has like shattered glass in the sky, has Ray in the bottom. Like Promised Neverland has the best colorings, honestly. I've loved everyone so far, and it seems like they're putting in a lot of work. I saw that there's like an anime announcement or more promos for it. I'm super stoked on that. I'm definitely gonna be watching that anime. Anyways, let's talk about the contents of the chapter. So it starts off with the no name guy with Ray had shot Lewis his mask off in the beginning, and there's a sick shot looking down from the roof, and this all works with a big plan with the electricity on the ground. They got Lewis stunned, and they managed to shoot off his mask with the special gun, and then so immediately they're like, this is our chance. He's just the tiniest bit stunned from getting his mask shot off. So immediately one of the kids throws a flash grenade in his face, and it was point blank explosion for a flash grenade. So Lewis was completely blinded by it because he wasn't seeing it coming at all, and so Lewis lost his whole sense of sight. And that was at that point, I was like, honestly, this is perfect. I would love to see Lewis just get shot down. Like, the humans actually did it. You can't hunt them anymore like that. But, I mean, the author's saving something even bigger than this. And Lewis is a badass. So even though he's blinded, he takes the shards of his broken mask and just scatters them around everywhere. And whatever he manages to hit, he had managed to hit one of the kids out of everybody. And so he hears the kid that he hit, and he knows that's where the kid is, and he just immediately goes over that way and just slashes him with like his skeleton-like fingers. Man, those things are scary looking. The demons themselves are scary looking, man. And so yeah, the one kid just got his arm entirely cut off. It was insane. A lot of blood loss. And throughout this all, Lewis, he's only relying on sound, and he was able to find where the one kid was because he happened to hit him. But besides that, like he cut this kid, and now he doesn't know what else to do because he doesn't know where everyone is. And then the no name guy that was with Ray, we're just gonna call him No Name for now because no one actually knows still. Uh, he was he started to shoot again, and he managed to hit one and get one other shot blocked, and it was super suspenseful. And the Promised Neverland is just one of those series that, like, even though some of the things that are happening are a little absurd, kids holding guns without like kind of these guns are heavy, blah, blah blah, things like that. Once you look past like any like little trivial things that could bother you, this series is so good. Especially like a fight scene like this, which there's rarely fights in Promised Neverland, considering the main character is like a little girl. But it's so suspenseful. And in the end, towards the end of the chapter, they actually had to kind of run away from Lewis, even though he was still like shaky and could hardly see. He just happened to get like his monkey back, and I don't know, it's crazy to think about how they're gonna go from here because it seems that they pulled out every trump card they have, and there was a color spread last chapter of Norman, and we saw him a little while back ago, and it makes you wonder, like, could somehow Norman come through to help him? I kind of doubt it. I feel like they're going to be able to find a way through with their own ways. Honestly, my whole prediction for this entire arc was that Lewis. They even mentioned it in this chapter that all the buildings and stuff they're fit for humans but not for demons. The demons are pretty damn big. So I always thought that like one of the secret tunnels they had underground, they were going to lure him under and collapse the tunnel on him. But also Lewis is kind of too smart to fall for that. I mean, he's been predicting like every move that all the kids have been making. It's really hard to say. I like to think that Ray will have some big plan to come through at the end because Ray is the one person that hasn't actually done anything yet to defeat or to do any damage to Lewis, you know. And then of course I'd like to see Emma get like the finishing blow or something, or have her wits be what wins. But overall, this chapter for sure was suspenseful because I came to a point where I was completely ready for this fight, this arc to end. And I don't know if anybody else was too, but it was definitely satisfying. It was a good trap, really suspenseful shots. Uh, I really want to know what you thought of the chapter. Out of 10, I would give this probably like a 9. And not much to complain about. Also, despite all the color pages that there's been lately, this author has to be getting their ass worked off, and yet the art looked really good this chapter too. Sometimes, like in the past, there's been panels where like kids' faces just aren't very consistent or like just look a little awkward. This chapter, it's all been great. Last chapter too. Promised Neverland, really great series. If you just happen to be watching this video wondering if it's good, you should definitely be checking it out, and especially when the anime comes out. I guess my last thing is just to give predictions of what we'll probably see next chapter. Honestly, just I think they're gonna go all in on Lewis, and it would probably end with a cliffhanger kind of finishing blow to him. But the thing is, he's only like regaining consciousness, so it's an uphill battle from here already. Like I said, it's hard to believe that Norman will come through already. I actually do want to mention that I always thought the Goldie Pond arc, like when I was approaching it in the story, I thought it was going to be a pretty quick arc. Like it was going to be some discoveries made, whatnot. Ended up being this whole mess that, I mean, as you can tell when they were in the bottom of the light lake, you know, we're actually approaching the end of the story. It's pretty evident. So honestly, every chapter they can take all the time they want. This is a great story, and I'd like to keep reading it for a while. I'm curious who's your favorite character in Promised Neverland? I'm probably just gonna have to go with Emma because there's a moment in this chapter where you see her like when she's younger playing chess, and you look at her now and you see how much she's like grown. I mean, she cut off her ear. It, this story's intense. Anyways, great chapter. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. Uh, Definitely check back next week. I'm gonna start reviewing this every week for sure. It's a great series. And until then, I'll see you then. Goodbye.